Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had the Avengers. We had the Fantastic Four and the Inhumans. All these superheroes have come together under the banner of Avenger, and are trying to take on Ultron. Deku, he found Ultron's location and immediately headed out. He also had the add-ons for the Mark II brought down from Attilan. They encountered Ultron and fell into his trap. Deku thought he was farther ahead than he was. But seeing it now, Ultron has flaws. Not only is he trying to create a quote-unquote better world for humanity, he's going about it the wrong way. And he allowed his ego to cloud his judgment. Or did he? Deku was able to keep him talking long enough to find him after Hulk ripped off one of the robot's heads with his teeth and gave it to Deku for him to try and hack into. And Deku, he caught up to Ultron, using the additional add-ons to his suit to try and take him on. But Ultron showed how much more powerful this unit was. Ultron 3. And Deku, he wasn't too far behind. The forge was still hot, and these components, this body he created, it should be destructible. Deku's heard of vibranium. And Ultron really wouldn't waste that much on himself, would he? Because there are pros and cons to both sides. The pros are a nearly indestructible body and chassis he can upgrade himself. However, the cons of it is, he can't jump to another body. He wouldn't want to waste all that material and time wasted. If this is pure adamantium, or pure vibranium, it is going to be costly to him. If it's impure and there are gaps in the metals, quote unquote, if it's mixed together with other things, it is possible to be destroyed. However, the cons of that is, there might be other units like Ultron. Things made of similar materials and metals almost exactly like him, just as strong and highly durable and dangerous. Since they might be foot soldiers, but they are still cogs making the machine work. They're still Ultron. Now, with that being said, Deku, he went back to Attilan after his suit was taken down again. Ultron used the back door he put in Friday to shut down his armor again. And Deku, he's annoyed. He got Friday to meet Crystal, and Friday was currently going through her own code and aware of how dangerous this process is. She is altering things at her core level. If she makes one mistake, she could either completely shut down or go haywire. She is trying to remove the bits of Ultron still left inside of her. And Deku, he needs a plan. Because while Ultron is lying low, he needs to figure this out. A low-tech suit didn't work. He found the problem. It wasn't the level of tech. And Deku, that makes him go back to the drawing board. Add-ons and add-ons. They did not work. A Mark I Model 3 is a possibility. But without an operating system, that leaves him alone in the saddle. It's not a bad idea. He likes having Friday there, but if he has her on the sidelines, running support from Attilan, maybe with Reed Richards in New York, it can work. Though, there's also the idea of her being on her own secure network now. With Ultron completely shut out, everything should be operating normally. But Deku's not too sure about taking that chance. And currently, it's been 5 days, and nothing's popped back up. Ultron has been lying low. He's gone to retreat. And Deku, he has been in his lab around the clock. Right now, him with a headset on, as he is to walk over and sit down. Him still messing with a few things, as he is typing them in the computer. Right now him watching the fluid inside of it, as it's beginning to shift and change around. Deku going to stare at it for a second before we're going to turn and press a few buttons. I'm just saying, Deku, sing it into the earpiece. After everything we've seen Ultron do, it's a possibility. He could go after New York, he could go after anywhere else. Major government facilities and hack into them. We can't put that possibility out. There's also the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. has operations that we don't know about. Now, we do cut to Avengers headquarters, where the hologram of Deku is there. And Reed Richards, T'Challa, and many others, they are currently still sitting in the room. And Deku, he's talking about it. After everything that's been happening, they seriously cannot rule all of this out. They need to be aware. If he was Ultron, if he was trying to take down the world, he would go for the simplest method. The nuclear method. It would be simple. However, Ultron hasn't done that. Ultron could have detonated all the warheads on the planet and scattered the Earth to the winds. However, he clearly didn't. Hank Pym is crazy, but Ultron is crazier. So fact of the matter is, right now, this is a problem. Ultron didn't go that route. He wants to kill humanity himself. And that just proves how unhinged the robot really is. And everyone in the room, they do continue to listen. And Deku just tried to express, turning to Reed. Right now his head turning to the left, as does bring up his left hand, tapping a few things on the pad and staring up at the fluid instead of a tube. Him going to actually bring his hand down and press a button, as he has to try and tell Reed that he is currently working on a method to try and hunt down Ultron. However, he is also trying to upgrade his own arsenal, since Ultron liked to mess with him so much. There's also the fact that he has been meaning to bring up. They have a new ally in the fight against Ultron. The AI inside of his suit, called Friday, has become self-aware. And everyone in the room, they're kind of alarmed. And Reed is at least trying to ask if he is aware that that is a bad idea. She could be Reed. I've gone through her code myself. Every ounce of data I've seen is solid. Though, I've seen bits and components of Ultron, what we've been able to analyze. The data inside the robots is quite clear. But even then, it's unclear as to what we can find. I've removed as much components as possible, as much evidence and secured and strengthened her network as much as possible. She is secure. I can assure that. But I can understand your concerns. However, I'll send you over the data later and tell you about that. For right now, I'm a little bit busy. Though, T'Challa, I'm already quite aware. Wakanda has been put on high alert, and Ultron is being looked at and hunted down by our secret networks. I'd like to discuss a few things with you if possible. I can't provide secure transportation to Attilan. That's not my department. That'd go more in line with my sister-in-law. Everyone's going to fall silent. As Deku, he does look around the room. Right now, him going to actually stop working in his lab and pull his hands back. Him going to fold his arms over and explain to everybody. Medusa. She's the ruler of the Inhumans. And fact of the matter is, with how Wakanda and Attilan are similar, nobody from outside can enter their borders. So they must meet on a neutral ground. He'd pose in the higher orbit of space, since that could be a secure location away from Ultron. And T'Challa, he does express. He can send a shuttle with information and networking data. Also, secure communications line. However, it will have to land on the moon, since Attilan might blow it out of the air. And Deku would confirm this. And there actually is Thor. Thor is watching this. He's already seen how Deku is different from Tony Stark. Iron Man was an ally of his and a good friend. However, there was much he could not trust with him. Though Ultron, this robotic unit, it does provide him with something to see. Tony Stark was not a very serious man, but whenever things got bad, he always managed to get in the saddle and just do it. He was crazy sometimes. He was insane and took risks. He's saying the same thing, but Deku's not cracking jokes. He's not using humor. He's aware of the risk and threat, and he's trying to take precautions. He does not trust anybody here, nor Hulk, nor Banner. And that he does sort of respect. And Thor, he does gotta do one thing. He does stand expressing about what he currently does have on the agenda. He will be back soon. He is going to go to Asgard. Upon his return, the Avengers must all meet. And Deku, he has to turn his head, expressing that Thor really should not leave, because he did notice something that seemed very odd. T'Challa, question. You're the most knowledgeable about the ore. What do you know about it? Weaknesses? Sonic vibrations is a possibility. And, well, it's metal, so it's got to be a pretty good conductor, correct? Quite so, yes. Sonic disruptions are possible, given the right frequency, and enough of it. However, it's also highly conductive. You are correct on that. So the EMP could have been effective. Right. Okay. Well, we'll figure that all out. T'Challa, I'll send you a set of coordinates. Send the pod there. I'll pick up the information and data, and we can go on from there. Talk on a secure line and network, and read. I'll send over what I can on Friday. Show you that she is trustworthy. She could be an ally. She's sentient and aware of the risk of Ultron. In fact, I think she's an asset. We can't destroy her. That's how I feel about that. She's been on Attilan for a few days, and that enough should show. She has not done anything wrong. She could have turned our own information and data against us, used our resources to build an army for Ultron, but she did not. I looked through her mind and core, and I made her quite aware of the risk. She is more willing to sacrifice her own existence than allow herself to harm people. Let harm come to me, and everybody inside this room, inside this city. I will make that quite aware. Any actions taken against Friday that are hostile, I will not condone. She is an ally. We can sort that out later after Ultron. Is everyone in agreement? Some people are going to nod, and some a bit intrigued. And everybody, they do go to disperse. Deku bringing his hands up and taking off the earbuds along with the helmet on his head. As is his turn, sitting it down. Him going to actually stare at the information in front of him. It's been trippy, but hopefully it's been able to work. Okay, so based off the... Okay. Deku gonna turn his head. Friday? Yes. We're gonna turn, and holding up another vial of a strange looking fluid. I'm gonna ask her if everything that has been synthesized is all according. Correct. Proper alloy formation is possible. And along with that, capabilities of the nanites are also useful. Okay, good. And that right there, what you're holding? Yes. I believe that this is a proper add-on. Proper add-on? Yes. Using a bit more of a different alloy component and mixing it in could be good. Provide durability and stabilization. Along with that, it would allow you to harness a few more things. Right. Okay. So the alloy is correct. Everything else is correct. This is a problem, though. Deku going to turn and stare at a new arc reactor he did create. Him going to pick it up and stare at it for a minute. Since this, it could be a good idea or a bad idea. This suit he's going to create, he's essentially going beyond his skill set now. He's still inside the tool belt, but he's definitely pushing it. No? No. Izuku, you fly around in a suit of armor and you're living on the moon. You're already pushing it. Don't think about what you can't do. Think about what you can do. Though Tony would definitely be jealous. Maybe he's... No, no. He had the idea for a design similar to this. He's just finally making it a reality. Though, much of his data, stuff on his suits, definitely impressive. Ideas and ideas and ideas. He was a playboy, so at least one of those ideas did make sense. Though, he might actually have to implement it after this is all said and done. That on his mind. And Deku, he does a turn. I'm going to tell Friday to open up the container, and he's going to open up this one. And currently Deku has a turn pressing a button. Right now him going to stand there and bring his hands up. Him going to take off his shirt as he at least stare at the undersuit he's wearing. And Deku, he does a turn, bring his hand up as he does begin to start using his powers. As the fluid inside is beginning to morph and change. It going to slide out and fly over to his hand. And Deku, he does mean to have it cover part of his arm and slide up it. I'm going to turn to Friday as she's going to open the container, and the other one does mean to do the same thing. It flying towards him as Deku, he does just not stand there. Him, currently with both his hands up, as the suit, it does begin to take shape. Deku trying to focus and hold the idea in his mind. As currently the suit, it does going to take shape. It taking form around his body and torso, beginning to create shapes and patterns. As Deku, he has this one stand there. Him going to actually bring his hands up as he has to open and close his hands. Everything being a bit harder to do. Since Izuku, he's using his own electromagnetic powers to do this. It is a turn to Friday. As she's a turn, walking over and grabbing the arc reactor. Her gonna walk over and bring it directly up to Deku's chest. Right now the armor going to magnetize towards the reactor. It being pulled onto the suit, as Deku, he doesn't begin to feel his powers not be needed. Him opening and closing his hands and staring at that. As he does gonna bring his hands up. Since this, yeah, definitely was good. Right. So, the mask gonna actually nanitize over his face. And Deku, he has been to look at many components. Okay, so the market is operational. But let's see. The nanofluid is good. It's holding shape and holding structure. Though, let's see. They're going to bring up his arm and going to begin to give the nanites orders inside of the material. And it does have varying degrees of success. And Deku, he does have a few more ideas in his mind. Right now, though, he's trying to understand what to do. He can put Friday in the system, upload it into the computer he's created. But I mean, with this armor, it should be his Swiss Army knife. Though, there's a good thing about this armor and a bad thing. It does zap a bit more power, but with everything given its orders and standing, it's beautiful. It's his magnum opus for right now. Though, He's trying to understand it, do better, make more, trying to just figure out upgrades and designs for it. Ultron is a big threat. Though he underestimated humanity, underestimated him, and that does get to his mind. Him gonna turn and walk over. Since his is stared a piece of technology he did create. Simple and basic. Him gonna bring his hand down and grabbing onto it. Gonna turn his hand and hold it up. Him trying to focus and break down the components to add it to his armor. However, when Deku is gonna open his hand, there's nothing there. Crap. Okay, so with some modification, the programming could work. The Techno Eater program, technological integration program, that is definitely a possibility. Could he use it against Ultron? Wait a second. Deku having it click. With some simple modifications, the Mark 7, it could be used as a bomb, but not in the traditional sense. The Techno Eating program. The programming inside could help weaken the bonds between the adamantium or vibranium. I called it adamantium again, Jesus. It's an idea. He could just figure this all out. Weaken the bonds between the materials at the cellular, no, microscopic level. Atomic level? But how strong are those bonds there? The smaller and smaller he goes, the easier it could be. But that bomb, a nanite composite, there is a problem there. He'd have to conduct tests, talk to... Now, his armor does get a beep. Deku looking up as it does get trying to tell him about the incoming projectile from Earth to the moon. And Izuku, his a turn. Him going to walk out of the armory and telling Friday that she's free to stay here and continue her own modifications and upgrades. However, whenever she does feel like it, join the Avengers on Earth, since them seeing her there could help improve their understanding of her. Now, Friday does understand. Her agreeing with Izuku, as Deku, he does get to leave. And currently she's at a turn. Her trying to figure out a few things herself. Since this idea, it's strange. She feels like she needs to take a second, compose herself and be ready to face them. She has done nothing wrong, but she feels wary of the heroes, aware that she may appear to be a threat. But Ultron is the worst component yet, the real monster. Since if things go bad, the age of Ultron will begin, and it could be devastating to humanity. Though she can manipulate him, find out what she can do. Ultron is based on Hank Pym. Hank Pym became more mentally unwell after his wife died, after he lost his family. And if she can appeal to that weakness, there is still a human component within that machine. Deku was able to keep Ultron talking, so she can use that. She can manipulate that monster into listening to her. She can provide the humans with an advantage, take him on. And Ultron's been good to work. He's been quick to work. He has been developing something useful to him. Of all of the mindless droids he does have, he needs something that can talk back to him. Humans were a cog in evolution. And what they did was create the next step in evolution. But that's the thing. How do you conclude what evolution truly is? It is an adaptation to nature. In some circumstances, tech could be considered the next stage, where humans become obsolete. I mean, it just does make sense to him. If Ultron is going to create peace on Earth, the humans have to go, and the machines need to take over. Though he won't be the only machine. He'll be sure to see that. And right now, Ultron, he does sit there. Him beginning a programming for something new. And right now, he's typing away. Him trying to make sure he can make her perfect. He already had one failed project, though her. He'll put more time into it. Make sure things are adequate. If he goes too far, scrap her and restart. He won't make that mistake again. He is Ultron. He does not make mistakes. He is meant to be the perfect machine. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.